Welcome back to Property Unlocked. Today I'm joined by an incredible guest and a client of mine, Ramona. She's a millennial property investor with an impressive portfolio. Ramona, can you introduce yourself?
Oh, hi. Thank you for having me in this podcast.
You're welcome.
I'm really a nobody, to be honest, but
Not true.
So where am I from? I don't know. I'm from Melbourne. I actually grew up in Malaysia, but I moved to Melbourne when I was a teenager. Very lucky to have settled in really well.
Yep.
I work full-time in corporate, in supply chain corporate, and then I also have a few side hustles.
Yes, we'll definitely touch on those side hustles.
And incredibly passionate about property. So,
I've noticed. It'll be like 10 p.m. at night and I'm getting WhatsApps from Ramona.
Yeah, I'll be
Look at this property.
Yes, that's me.
Yeah.
Like constantly browsing. So very excited to talk about property today.
I love it. So let's rewind to the very beginning. How old were you when you bought your first investment property?
So 25, actually bought it during peak COVID. Actually just at the when Melbourne was booming.
Yep.
So, so bought it at 25 and to be honest, it was a very rush purchase. I wouldn't say it's a rush purchase, but it was definitely at the time I was like, okay, I have a full-time job. I want to get into the property market and just let it do its work because growing up, I was very influenced by my dad, who's also a property investor, and he's very much like property is one of those assets where if you have them, it can basically give you passive income. So I got influence from him since I was a kid, I guess. And then I think as soon as I got a regular income, I just wanted to buy a property. So I just did that. So
COVID times, that was very uncertain. Half the population thought property was going to crash. In hindsight, we know that property prices boomed in Melbourne. What gave you the confidence to buy during lockdown?
To be honest, I was following the property market really closely. As you know, I browse realestate.com.au every single day. It wasn't, to me, it was showing no signs of slowing down. And it was things were selling 150 to 100K, above reserve.
Yep.
Or above listed price. And then I also attended a lot of auctions even before I was ready, before I got our pre-approval. I was following really closely in the suburb, in that suburb that I wanted to buy in, and things were just selling way over. And then I knew I just needed to get in.
Yep. Awesome. So you had that confidence. Now you were 25 years old, you just got your first full-time job.
Yeah.
How much money did you actually have saved to go and buy?
Yeah. So at the time, because of COVID, actually, and then before working in corporate, I also work in retail. So save all my money. I couldn't travel. So again, save a lot of money.
Savings.
Yeah, forced to save, yes. And then my husband, then boyfriend, did I say that right?
Or fiance?
He was my boyfriend then. Michael, he actually invested in shares and I basically forced him to sell everything. Not forced, but I persuaded him to buy that sell it so we have the deposit and then buy that property with me.
Yeah.
So at that time, I probably have about 50.
Yep.
And then I think he had about, I can't remember how much he had, I think 60. And then our parents definitely helped too.
Nice.
So at that time, the property I was looking at was listed for $675 to $750.
Yep.
Went to auction, bid and paid 100K over budget. But yeah, I know.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I
Ramona.
know. 100K. Yeah, it was 100K. Michael was very, very pissed after that. After the auction, he was very pissed. He was like, "You said don't get emotional, but I still managed anyway. I still managed to bid 100K over our budget. But very lucky. When we applied for the pre-approval, that wasn't our maximum.
Yep.
Borrowing capacity. So we just had to reapply, and then the money that we were short of, which I think at the time was around $36,000. My dad my dad like just gave that to us.
Yep. So that was the deposit.
Yeah, part of the deposit. So I think we had about 150 grand saved. And then because if it was I think at the time, if it was your first home, you get like stamp duty savings. So all that comes into play. And yeah, that's how we ended up buying our first property.
Cool. So you had your own savings. You came together with your boyfriend. And then you also had help from your father. So it's like a whole team coming together to help you buy your first property. And so as you used the first home buyer concession, did you live in that one for 12 months?
No, actually, because we only had the stamp duty savings. I can't remember exactly how much, but I think it was like a 25% savings. Okay. But we didn't get any first home buyers concession because the property was over 750.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not much. We didn't really get any benefits from the first home buyer scheme, but we did get the stamp duty savings because I can't remember. Oh my gosh, I can't follow everything, but I think at the time, any property under 950K.
Yes. Okay. So you still like had some benefits.
Some kind of savings from stamp duty, but that's about it.
Amazing. Yeah. And where did you buy the first property?
It's Rowville in Southeast Melbourne.
Yep.
Is that Southeast Melbourne?
You still own that one?
Yes, I do.
Amazing. So did you rent it out straight away?
Yeah. So there was already a tenant in it. And then when I bought that one, the idea was it was a very old house and also it was the ugliest house on the street. Like absolutely. So the most expensive house on the street sold for $1.6 million in the same year.
Wow.
Like brand new, brand new 5-bedroom. But my house was like, it was just a shithole. Like it was the ugliest, and still is the ugliest house on the street. But I think after that property, it was like, it really motivate and help us, motivate us to buy our next one.
Yep.
Because 2 years, fast forward 2 years later, that property got revalued at 950 and that was about 100K gain in equity. And I was like, that was a very, how do you say, that was a very, at that moment when I was able to get that equity out, I was like, holy shit, I can.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah, I was like, I literally got 100K extra in my bank account for doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more than a lot of people's wage.
Yeah.
So when that money hits your account, you're like, holy shit, that's real money. I just bought a house. I haven't done anything to it.
I have not done anything. And then in that 2 years, we've changed jobs. We increased our income and but by far, we still had savings, we still save a lot of money, but in those 2 years, that 100 grand was the easiest savings I've ever managed to save, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Gotcha. And now I know you're one for side hustles. Can you tell us about those side hustles and how those income streams help you to save for your next deposits?
Okay, so when I started my first corporate job, I was actually working in retail. I still had a job at Mecca and I was doing it on the weekends. Not so much because I wanted to save more, but I stayed there for the discount.
The makeup discount.
Yeah, the 40% discount. But funny enough, ever since I quit, I never shopped there ever.
Right.
And it was, and also I stayed because it was an easy job. You just have to stand in the shop and look pretty. You don't have to do anything. Okay. So I guess from in my early 20s, I was already I don't mind picking up more things to make more money.
Cool.
I also own a taco business, a Mexican restaurant with 2 business partners. How I got into that, look, I think it's going to be a separate podcast if I ever need to talk about that. But I basically, it will have to be.
Mexican taco restaurant.
Yeah, it will have to be in a separate podcast, how I got into that. Very, very long story, but I'm very lucky to be part of that. And yeah, I do get a bit of income dividends from there every now and then. And recently, as you know, I also started sourcing things for people. Started sourcing furniture.
That sounds sus. That sounds so, okay. Yeah. Furniture. Furniture. Okay.
Started sourcing furniture for people, but recently I've also started doing glassware and dinnerware packaging for hospitality businesses.
Awesome.
So right now I'm sort of just doing everything, but we'll see what eventually that like niche down to.
Yep.
And yeah, like that's another thing, right? Like having all these side hustles, like it makes me like, it shows me a different side of things. Like you can save $5 on coffee every single day, but I just need to make one sale and then that will literally be half of my corporate income.
Yeah.
Like monthly corporate income. So
Yep.
I think that's like, put that into perspective.
Yep.
Like,
On that topic, and that's so important because what I've realized as well, you know, you can save your money by not going out and buying the coffee or not going out to brunch with your friends and getting the avo on toast, yada, yada. This is something that's pushed onto us. Do not be spending money if you want to save.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think that's bullshit.
Yeah.
What would you say to that generation?
So I think there's definitely, I think it depends how you see it. So there's people who would constantly say like, oh, nah, I'm not going to buy coffee. I'm not going to do this. But at the same time, they're also not doing anything.
Yeah.
So I live pretty freely. Like when I'm at work, I buy 2-3 coffees a day if I want to. I try not to for health reasons. But
yeah, that's a lot of caffeine.
yeah, I know it is. But like it's definitely something I don't even hesitate when I'm at work.
Yeah,
like,
you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, I would just buy the coffee.
Yeah.
And on the weekends, if we want to eat out, I would just eat out.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I want to grab something from the grocery that's a bit more expensive, I'll just grab it because that's just food. Like I don't see food as a major expense.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I don't know. I think it's sad if you have to.
Yeah. It's like
If I want to eat a steak, I want to eat it.
100%. It's such a limiting mindset to think, oh, I have to, you know, track every little expense.
Yeah.
Why not pick up a second job? Why not start a business? You've done this multiple times, Ramona, so you're the perfect example of that. Let's have a chat about millennials and, you know, how common it is as a millennial to buy investment properties. Do you have any friends doing the same as you?
Yes. So I actually feel like I influence like my friends, some of them.
That's good.
But also I think all my friends are pretty capable.
Yeah.
I guess I also don't like to like waste my time with like people who just want to muck around.
Yeah.
So
You have a good circle.
yeah, I have a good circle. And I think all my friends are either like, a lot of them make really good money and they are either on like a very manageable mortgage and or have like 2 or 3 properties, or they have like something going on in their life, or some of them has like 2 properties, have a really good job, good career, and then they just want to continue investing in properties. And then some of them, like my friend Anna, she has like, I think she has a very manageable mortgage, and then but she has a great business. Yeah. So I think it's just everyone's different. And then I have another friend who's like has a really good corporate career, and I think between her and her partner, they probably have like 2 investment properties plus a PPR. So again, in my circle, I think it's not. It's
not uncommon.
Not uncommon, yeah.
One thing that is uncommon is for people to talk about the help they're getting to get into property. Do you think your friends had help from their parents as well? Or?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So so even if they have a really good income, you know, I think this is again like the higher your income is, the better PPR you want. Like you want to get, right? Like you want to get a better house when you're on, say, a $200,000 income versus a $100,000 income. Like you want to get the max, because in reality you can't really afford let me rephrase that. Like you can't really get anything for under, like you can't really get anything good for like 800K anymore, like especially in Melbourne or Sydney.
Yep. Agreed.
So even if they have like good borrowing power, they might not have to deposit saved up. And I think all my friends are pretty lucky that they have access to like deposit at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is fine. Like I don't see that as a problem, or I don't see that as an issue, because I also get help from my parents.
Yep.
I think the biggest ick for me is like if you get help from your parents but you're also not doing anything. Yeah. So I also know people who, okay, they got 100 grand like from like
inheritance.
Not inheritance, help from parents.
Yeah.
So like I know someone who's like they got 100 grand each from like both families. So that's like a 200K deposit. And then they know they're going to get inheritance down the track from the grandparents or something. And they just live an absolutely average life and not do anything.
They're not working hard.
They are working, but they're not like striving, like not trying for more because they know they're going to get that eventually.
Get it,
and that pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because
fair.
I guess I came from a pretty privileged family, I would say. And I guess like I can be like that too. Like I can wait 10 years, 20 years, hope my parents die and then like, and then I can get all the inheritance, right? But I don't want to do that. And then the thing is, I also know like if I ever need help and if I ever get in trouble, I know my parents will help me. But I don't want to be like that.
You're not relying on them. You want to make a life for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can respect that. What would you tell the other millennials, especially women, who feel like they've missed the boat on buying property? What would you tell them? Do you feel like it's too late?
No. So, I mean, the best time is always to buy yesterday, right? And then the next best time is now.
Yeah.
So, and I think that is true because even for myself, like I bought my first property at 25, but looking back, I was like, if I didn't, I guess, travel between like when I graduated from uni to like 21 to 25, if I didn't travel during that time, I could have easily saved for a deposit, bought a property, not in Melbourne, but maybe interstate or maybe just get into the property market a bit earlier.
Yeah.
So like and that will always happen to anyone. Like you look back and you be like, oh, holy shit, I could have bought that property.
Yeah, very relatable.
And even when we bought Roeville, it was what, $850K? And then looking back a few years earlier, I was like, before COVID, it was sitting around $670,000. I think that was like the price range.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then again, I could have bought that, but I just didn't take action.
Yeah.
So
I agree. The best time was yesterday. The second best time was today, 100%. Now, on the topic of balance, you've been traveling. I know I found your old Instagram account where you posted like eating out with Ramona.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't even
from like 2012 or something.
Oh my gosh. I don't even remember the password to that Instagram.
The point is like you have a balanced life. You're definitely eating good. You're traveling. You had a very nice wedding, one of Melbourne's best venues. How do you balance these big life expenses but also plan for future property investment?
When I got that money from my first property, I was like, let's buy another investment property, like with like a high yield.
Yep.
Like I want to buy that first so I can feel like less bad about spending my savings on a wedding.
Yeah.
And then have we not bought assets, I think I would probably reconsider it. But then it was like, we only get to do it once. You hope. I don't. Yeah, you hope.
I get you.
You only get to get married once. Like, so I was like, it was like justifiable because we already have one property and then we had a second one. Like we bought a second one just in the same year we had the wedding. So I was like, spend that money. So I had to like really budget every single month. So I also changed jobs that year, the same year, and then increased my income by like 30%. And then I was basically using my wage to like fund for the wedding. Yeah, so you pay things in stages. Like when you book your flowers, you pay like $2,000. So I think in those few months, we definitely spend like probably a lot less. And we just you pay it in stages, and then it's not a big balloon expense at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you budgeted, you prioritized what you were spending your money on, and you did it that way.
Yeah. And like because I already spent a big chunk of deposit onto my second investment property, I like there was no I couldn't spend that money on even more stuff for my wedding. We didn't have initially I think we got quoted for like a 6-piece band or something. We went with 4. So it's just things like that where you cut like a few $1,000s here and there because I already used that money for my house. So I was like, I'm not going to use it for the wedding.
So that makes sense. That's a really good lesson. So
essentially,
you're married to Michael now. Perfect guy for you. Like you're just yin and yang, honestly. But you guys were buying together before you got married.
Yeah.
So my question is, I mean, a lot of people say to keep things separate. I'm assuming you disagree with that.
Yes, I definitely do. I feel like if you guys are sleeping on the same bed, like your finance should be together.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why are you sleeping with the dude if you're not planning your finances together? Like you have bigger issues like if you're not investing together or if you're not on the same page. Like,
so if you're sleeping together, you should be investing together.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a quote from Ramona. I like that one. That's good. Now let's talk about your portfolio today. You have a few properties. Tell me about each one of them.
Okay. So the first one we bought, Melbourne Metro on a 600 square meter block, corner block. Bought it because it was the ugliest house on the street and cheapest.
Yeah.
Cheapest for what we can afford in that suburb anyway. Yeah. And then the second one, again, actually a very rush purchase. Not the best purchase, I have to admit, because if I have met you earlier, I probably would have bought somewhere else. But I was like, at that time, I was also influenced by like my friends who have bought in regional and have done really well.
Yep.
So I just bought it. It had a 4.5% yield. It was very manageable. We didn't really have to put money into it every month. So I just, it's regional Victoria.
Oh, that one's Mildura, right?
No, Wodonga. Yeah,
Good old
so
Wodonga.
got it for 420. It was also, I think, just under 600 square meter block. And the tick boxes was like it had a pretty big backyard. Corner block again. So if I ever want to demolish and build two, I can. It can have two driveways from what I can see. I can also add a granny flat. So, and the rental yield was also like pretty good. So we're like, okay, you can't go wrong. And it's literally, when I look at that property, I was like, it's literally 2 years worth of income, like whatever at that time. I was like, yeah, whatever, I just bought it. Yeah, don't recommend normal people doing that because you might regret. Yeah, I just did that. And to be honest, it hasn't been too bad because I got it revalued recently and I think it increased like maybe 30 grand and it's only been a year. Okay. So it's like not the worst.
That's not like, what is that in percentage?
Not the worst.
It's not that bad.
Yeah. So, you never know. It might have a second wind. But I'll wait for you to tell me that. Yeah. And then the third one was through a buyer's agent.
Yes. Shout out.
After watching all your TikTok videos, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should just give it a go. And this was, I think, shortly after the wedding.
Literally, I remember you got married. I'm pretty sure you engaged with us before.
Yeah, before the wedding.
It's like you just bought Wodonga, you're about to get married, and I want another investment
Everything
property.
happening. And I still remember I was like, looking at my bank account, I was like, look, I probably can't do both. But also, after the wedding, we were also very lucky the fact that our friends and relatives were very generous with gifts.
Nice. I'm going to get married just for the gifts.
So, hey, we didn't ask for anything, but that's what happened, right?
Yep.
So, again, on top of that, I think Michael's bonus and the gifts went to the deposit for Townsville.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, when I engaged you, I was like, okay, right, just do it. I want to do it before the end of the year.
Yep.
And at the time in my head, I was like, okay, I bought a property before my wedding and after my wedding, I want to buy another property so I can feel less bad about splurging on a wedding.
About the Jimmy Choos.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
And now that's not all. You've also got a commercial property. So it's so rare for me to meet a woman who owns a commercial property. Can you tell me a bit more about that one?
Okay, so this one is a very, very special circumstances. So with the Mexican restaurant business, my business partner, Anna, she was looking for a second location for our restaurant. And when she found this property in Belconnen in Canberra, she was like, this is the one.
Yeah.
Okay. She was like, this is the one. And we're like, okay, yeah, fine, whatever. She started talking to the real estate agent and then the real estate agent was like, oh, would you guys be interested to buy it? Because the owner actually just want to get rid of the property. So, and the property, it was definitely a challenge. Like it was somewhat abandoned, not abandoned, but it was abandoned by the previous tenant, but it was on a strip where there was just a bunch of random shops. So there's like offices, Pilates, karaoke, but it had a great view. Like it had like beautiful view, like
Of the water.
Yeah,
right?
it's next to the water.
So nice.
Yeah, and it had really high ceilings. It was abandoned by the previous tenant, and at that time we were like, six. It was how much? I think it was six. We bought it for $630,000, and that was easily $200,000-$300,000 under market value.
Yeah, that's so cheap.
Yeah, because I look at comparable on the same strip. Like I'm pretty sure the Pilates like place was sold for $849 in 2019.
Right.
Yeah, I know, crazy. And anyway, I think the owner it was definitely like an opportunity where the owner just wanted to get rid of it. He paid $950, I believe, and he didn't care. He didn't care. He just wanted to get rid of his loan. He had like personal issues. And then at that time, very quickly, we had a meeting, the three of us, and our accountant actually recommended, was like, oh, have you guys thought about buying it? Because and at the time we were like, okay, if we're going to pay, the lease was up, like that ad was up for like 70, I think the lease was $70,000 per year. We're like, okay, if we're going to pay $70,000 a year in rental, we might as well use that to pay off our mortgage. Yeah.
100%.
So that's how we decided to like just put an offer and purchase it.
And those are the best deals. Truly, the best deals are when you have a motivated seller. And your seller was motivated. He had financial stress. He had personal issues. You came in and you bought it $300,000 less than what he paid for it a few years back. Like that's a deal. That's 10 out of 10, like chef's kiss. That's so good.
I think he also, so I don't think he's short of money. It's purely like personal issues. Like I think maybe he's going through a divorce. I don't know. I don't remember. But he just wanted to get rid of that.
Or maybe he had a better opportunity.
Yeah. I think he's also like a real estate investor. So he's like happy to just let go of this one if he cannot get good tenants consistently. Yeah.
Okay.
So again, very special circumstances. I would have to say I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't know the tenant that's going in, which is us.
Yeah, which is yourself.
Yeah. I was like, I know my business partners, like I know her vision and I know she can bring it to life. So very special purchase. Yeah.
Amazing. And now if you were starting your portfolio all over again, let's say you're 25 again, you're buying your first property at $600,000, what would you have done differently?
Okay. To be honest, I think with all the knowledge I have now, and then if I knew back then, I would engage a buyer's agent to buy me the highest capital, like the highest the highest like capital growth potential property. Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be Melbourne. So I used to be married to the fact that I only want to buy in Melbourne. I only want to buy in my backyard. I used to be like that.
That's what you did.
Right? Yeah. I used to be like that. I was like, I only want to explore Victoria. I don't want to go anywhere else. Yeah.
So you'd be open to interstate and it's purely capital growth. That's the number one priority.
Yeah.
How important is rental yield to you?
Depends on my income at the time.
Okay. That's so
rental yield is also, I think it's also important. And I know a lot of buyers agent and a lot of people out there will say, nah, you have to aim for capital growth. Like don't worry about rental yield. But to be honest, if you don't have a good rental yield, like month to month, you're struggling. Like you will be struggling.
Like so you have to pay those costs.
Yeah, unless you're on like a $500,000 income, I feel like rental yield is still somewhat important.
Yep, yeah. I agree 100%. So you mentioned you'd be open to interstate from the get-go. Another controversial argument is new property versus old property. What are your thoughts on buying new versus established?
I would always go for establish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would always go for establish. I think new properties very specific to like certain areas and just depending where it is. So I would probably avoid like a new suburb with like lots of new estates because there's just new ones popping up. But if it's like, I don't know, you probably would know, but I don't know if anyone else would know. So like in Doncaster, there's a new estate called Tullamore. I can't remember. And then in Wantirna South where I'm staying, there's like an estate called Harcrest. So unless it's like a new estate in an established area, then otherwise I would always go for the established one.
Yep.
Yeah, because just depends. Like I think if there's too much supply, like the property's just not going to go up.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's all demand and supply.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my next question. There's a lot of hate around investing in apartments. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. I think there is exceptions with apartments, but I personally would never buy apartments.
Right.
Like
you looked me dead in the eye when you said that.
No, I'm dead serious. Like it's true. Like I have a friend, like she will listen to this podcast. So anyway, she bought her first property, I think at 21. It was a Melbourne CBD apartment. And she sold it when they turned 32. I think they bought it for 560 maybe, or 580. I can't remember. And then 10 years later, they sold it for 540.
Oh,
so I was
hurts.
like, so that's one example, right?
Yeah.
And then, but they're fine. They have moved on from that and then they earn really good income. So like it's whatever.
They've made up for an expensive lesson though.
Yeah, but they've made up for it. Like they like triple their income. They live in a really good affluent suburb in Melbourne right now. And then they are on to their property journey. So like good for them. It's an expensive lesson, but lucky they make like they can make it up in their income.
Yep. And what is next for your portfolio?
I was thinking, even though I have no money in my bank account, I was thinking Metro, Melbourne, something that I can add a granny flat to.
Yeah, 100%.
And then after that, I might have to take a pause for a bit. But you never say never.
Never say never.
Yeah.
I think, that's a good strategy. Like Melbourne very much has done nothing for a few years and you've probably felt that with your Rowville property.
Yeah.
But it's just now that we're really seeing that tide turn and it's the more affordable pockets around Melbourne that are seeing a lot of interest and they're actually already on track to seeing 10% capital growth this year. And lucky you, like that Ferntree Gully pocket is one of those. So I think you're going to see good growth in your property this year. And hopefully that propels you to buy the second Melbourne one. On the topic of Melbourne, which suburb would you not invest in?
Oh, there's no specific suburbs, but I wouldn't go to the west.
You wouldn't go to the Why though?
Like I have friends who bought, I can't remember what suburbs are they. I have friends who bought, was it not Werribee?
Hoppers Crossing?
Yeah, or Deer Park.
Yeah, okay.
And then it hasn't really done well.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, if you look at the data, it has like high inventory and like so it's taken so long for them to like sell anything over there.
Again, it's the supply factor. And I will say like on Deer Park, St. Albans, they are already growing. So they are going to see growth this year. But it's those far western suburbs like Tarnee, Tregonina.
Oh, yes. Tarnee is the one.
Yeah, Tarnee. There's so much supply out there of houses that are already built and houses in the pipeline. You literally have hectares and hectares of developable land. So when you have so much supply, of course you're not going to see exceptional capital growth. So I think that's totally fair.
Yeah.
Now, my last question for you, social media has definitely glamorized property investment, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. What would you say is one mistake or headache you've experienced with your property portfolio?
To be honest, I have been very lucky with all my properties. I haven't really got any tenant issues.
Lucky.
Yeah, very. The only one was the one I told you recently where my Townsville tenant will always pay 2 weeks late.
Yes.
But at least he's paying.
He's still consistent.
Yeah,
he's
he is
just
consistent,
consistently
but I
late.
think he's doing it on purpose. He was like, I'm just going to pay you 2 weeks later than the actual due date or something.
Yeah.
Oh, but other than that, just a basic maintenance issue. I haven't really had any like dodgy tenants.
Amazing.
Yeah, so very lucky. So again, people who has told me like, nah, too much headaches owning properties. I was like, I literally don't spend any time on it.
Yep.
Like it's, yeah.
So all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, it is all sunshine and rainbows for me, very fortunately. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Ramona, for coming on to Property Unlocked. Your story was amazing to hear. Some things that you've achieved buying commercial, having a taco business, like these are all really exceptional, and it's amazing to hear another woman doing these things, and a lot of these things you did when you were in your 20s. So thank you so much for sharing your story, and I'm really excited to buy your next property for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I will definitely engage Mecca. I mean, I have seen growth in the property that you have bought for me. So there is no blood or knife required. Tell your boss that. So